Hey guys, Jimmy Yin here, the neurology acupuncture specialist, coming at you with another daily power tips today. Today's is Thursday, so I'm gonna change it up today. I'm gonna change it up to Thoughtful Thursday or Thought Thursday. It was inspired by a patient that asked us today. They're doing great, and then they asked, so when will I get to the point where I don't have to work on my health anymore and I can just coast, right? Well, the answer to that question, for those of y'all who know, is never. I mean, just think about it. Your health is like your relationships, your marriage. When can you stop? When can you get to a point where you don't have to work on your marriage anymore? Like you don't have to talk to your spouse anymore, right? If you do that, most likely you'll end up in divorce, right? Or any of your relationships. When can you get to a point where you don't have to nurture that relationship? You don't have to spend time with the person. You don't have to communicate with the person. When can you say, okay, I'm going to spend 1,000 hours with you or 100 days with you, and after we do that, then we are set. We don't have to communicate. We don't have to talk to each other anymore, and the relationship will stay the same, right? It just doesn't happen that way. I mean, when I'm saying this and you're hearing this, it sounds ridiculous, right? It's like, oh, I don't see someone for 20 years and I'm still going to have the same relationship as I did 20 years ago, right? You lose contact, you lose communication, you lose that relationship a lot of times. And so, that's why there's a lot of divorces going on these days. It's because people are treating their health and their marriage is the same. They're not nurturing it, right? And so, with relationships, I mean, we know it's common sense. It's if you don't nurture the relationships, you don't spend time with your family, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose that relationship. So how is that any different from our health, right? And so with our health, actually with everything, whether it's our health, our relationships, or even our success, our career, like if you don't spend time improving yourself at your job, you're only going to get worse, right? There's only two directions things can go. We never stay stagnant. As much as people think that you stay stagnant, you never stay stagnant. So there's only two directions. So this is a wheel. This is just a regular wheel, like a car wheel or something like a stone wheel or something like that, right? Let me draw some spokes. So there's only two directions we can go. We can either go forward or we're going to go backwards, right? We're either going forward or we're going backwards. Or if we look at from a graph standpoint, okay, we're either improving or we're getting worse, right? And so some people are like, oh, but I want to just stay at even at a plateau. I want to coast. I want to coast like this. But the problem with this, what people don't realize is when they actually eventually see is, and when you start coasting, when you coast too long, there's only one other direction. There's only one direction you're going to head, and that's down. You're going to get worse, right? Because let's say you're at your job. You're at your job and you're just coasting. You don't acquire new skills. You don't improve yourself, and the environment keeps changing, right? Business keeps changing. Like COVID happens, things change, and you were right here and you didn't acquire new skills. And so what happened? The economy changed. You don't have new skills, so your worth to the company decreases, right? Versus if you're always constantly improving your skills, nurturing your skills, it doesn't matter what happens, you will be ready. And that's the same with our relationships. If we don't nurture our relationships or our health, since we're here at Achieve Integrative Health, we're talking about health. If you don't constantly work on your health, then your health is just going to decline. That's a fact. Our bodies are in constant motion. You can't stop it. There is one time when you can stop the motion of your body, right? Does anybody know what that is? That's basically when you're dead. That's when everything ceases, right? But as long as you're alive, you're in constant motion. So you can only go in two directions. You can either improve or you can get worse, right? So we're constantly, teeter-tottering. We're trying to balance that, right? So health. To answer that question that the patient was asking, this patient was asking because they had allergies, and it's like, oh man, my allergies are great now, but so when can I stop doing things? When can I stop treatments? When can I go back to eat crap, junk food, sugar, dairy, and all that stuff. I'm like, you can't, right? Unless you want to go backwards. Unless you want to go backwards and you want to get back all your allergies again, you want to get all the inflammation, the headaches, the migraines, the digestive problems, you want all that back, then you can go backwards, okay? But if you don't want to go back, then you got to keep moving forward. Just because you're doing great right now, it doesn't mean you stop. But here's the beauty of it. You see, once, have you ever pushed a car that's in neutral? That initial push, it takes a lot of energy, right? But once you get that car rolling, right? Once you get rolling, I'm assuming it's on an even surface, okay? But once you get it rolling, you can actually almost even just push the car forward with a finger, right? So the hardest part is getting that initial momentum. But once you get that momentum, it actually gets easier. That's the same with health. Once you spend the energy, the time, the resources, the finance to get your health momentum back into gear, once you get that momentum rolling, the healing, your body's starting to self-heal again, then it doesn't require as much energy and resources to maintain that health, right? It takes a lot of resources in the beginning because you messed it up. You didn't take care of it, right? And so in the beginning, it takes a lot of energy and resources. But once you get it rolling, it actually gets easier and easier and easier. It gets easier to maintain, right? So that's where you want to be. You want to get past that initial phase, where you got to push really hard, and you get to the place where you're coasting forward, though. You're moving forward. You still got to put effort into it. You still got to be disciplined with your diet, but at least you're moving forward. All right, guys? So that's a long answer to a short question. You always got to keep working on your health. You can never stop working on your health unless you want to get closer, unless you want to get faster into the grave, right? But I don't think most of us do not want to do that. We want to enjoy our life, right? And so remember, Jimmy Ian here, achieve integrative health. Everything in life is achievable, but it's up to you to make this happen. No one can do it for you. It's up to you. So we're on Thursday. Let's get it working.